Before the release of Mauer Der Toten, Cold War's Zombies mode in my opinion was on thin ice, as Mauer Der Toten is the first round-based zombies map Cold War has had in over 5 months, and as a community it was honestly a lifesaver in bringing back some oomph to Cold War zombies, as Firebase Z wasn't exactly revolutionary and didn't really add anything new, well, apart from an end cutscene and once again another iteration of the iconic ray gun, which the base version isn't even in the map. Anyways, I'm rambling on, so I'll get back on track. What was I saying? Oh, yes. Before the release of Mauer Der Toten, we did get zombies content with new updates to the Outbreak mode, including 2 new Easter eggs, so it wasn't just some weird iteration of zombies in an open world format, but Outbreak also added some new bosses and a whole other basket of things. Now, looking back to the Cold War Zombies community before even the Outbreak Easter eggs were released, we were all basically starved for content, and if I'm honest, for a while I did in fact give up on Cold War Zombies, as the gameplay is generally so repetitive due to the fact that you don't even have to try your luck at the box anymore. Instead, you just choose the class you would like and there's no reason to swap weapons because there's ammo crates everywhere. But I went more over this in my video I Hate Cold War Zombies, so check that out if you want to see the reasons why I dislike the Cold War Zombies mode, but let's just get back to Mauer Der Toten. Now, in some ways, Mauer Der Toten added such a breath of fresh air to Cold War Zombies. Now, there is just so much versatility in the way that you traverse the entire map, because I would actually argue out of all of the things added to Mauer Der Toten, the ziplines were the best addition, and truly I don't think the map would have worked and been received as well by the fans if you had to run up every single flight of stairs. This addition was certainly integral to the map's core design, and it was nice to see some elements from Outbreak and Warzone being fleshed out in an actual round-based zombies map, in comparison to the lacklustre D Machine and Firebase Z. But in other ways, Mauer Der Toten just felt stale to me, like I'd seen elements of the map before it was even shown off to the public. Oh wait, I did, and I guess you did too. The newest enemies in Mauer Der Toten are the Disciples, the Tormentors, which are the replacement for the Dog Round, as well as Valentina, the final boss, and oh, spoiler alert if you haven't somehow done the Mauer Der Toten Easter egg yet, but every other enemy has already been seen in the Outbreak game mode already, and although the new enemy types add some needed variety, I couldn't help but notice seeing the Kranzy Soldat, the Manglers, the Mimics, Tempests, Megatons, all enemies returning from other maps or modes. And this is part of the reason why Mauer Der Toten didn't totally feel like a fresh experience. Understandably, this map has been sitting on the back burner for quite some time, as many members of the community know that this map has just been sitting on Treyarch's shelf collecting dust. But because of the delayed release of the map, elements were put into Outbreak, and presumably this will how it will be for every single map releasing in Cold War. The mixing and matching of all these different elements didn't make the map feel totally brand new, and this type of recycling assets could certainly lead to the next round-based map rehashing previous elements we've seen in other maps from Cold War. And I just hope that this isn't the case, but that's hoping for you. And I would argue that each map should feel uniquely different from one another. I mean, just look at all the previous zombies maps from different games, and you could arguably say that each map feels uniquely different. And although I have some bad feelings towards Mauer Der Toten, it did get me to dive back into Cold War once again, and genuinely, this is the most fun map to play on Cold War Zombies right now. And let's be honest, this Easter egg felt so classic and I just loved it. Of course, I can't forget Klaus, the new AI companion, who actually has more character than any operator, which is very sad to say.
I suppose this is the real reason why I'm here. Oh, it is important to feel needed.
But if Treyarch release a bundle for that character, I may have to have a cheeky purchase. Because I really do hope to see him back in Zombies in the future, as he's being controlled by the director from the Easter egg cutscene, and I would just like to see how that storyline all plays out. And how can I forget the CRBRS or the Cerberus Wonder Weapons? what can I say about these weapons? Well, for a start, I'm just so glad that you don't have to craft each and every variant of the weapon, as this is generally a common trope used in zombies to keep the player occupied for longer while they set up in their games. And having all of the different variations drop periodically on the ground is like seeing a Christmas gift in July, as there's no accessibility boundary for new players to zombies, or even for the long-running fans like myself. The CRBRS is such a beast, and can take down any enemy relatively quickly with any version of the weapon, although I'd still argue that the base variant is still the best out of all of them. And let's be real here for a moment, the CRBRS is the best wonder weapon that Cold War Zombies has to offer. The newest equipment added to Cold War Zombies in Mauer Der Toten is the LT-53 Casimir grenades, which is a nice throwback to the Gersh device from Moon. And although yes, it is a throwback, it's just generally nice to see new equipment being added to the game. As to be honest, I was getting a bit bored just using C4s or decoy grenades, or even the monkey bombs, which is actually quite sad. I'm getting bored of using the monkey bombs. One new thing that I'm really glad was introduced in Mauer Der Toten is Mule Kick. Once again, we've got another redesigned perk, and I've got to say, it does look stunning. It's just so satisfying that when actually picking up the perk, it just goes and shoots the zombies to protect you. Just so satisfying. But the practicality that the perk has to offer is so useful, especially in the Easter egg. Now with Mule Kick, if you get to the tier 5 variant and you have your third weapon, you down, you lose the perk, and therefore you lose your weapon, returning to the perk machine and rebuying it means that you get that weapon back. This quality of life improvement for Mule Kick means that the perk is so much more useful in-game, especially in comparison to the earlier iterations of the perk seen in other Treyarch Zombies maps. With Treyarch expanding on perks in Cold War, it's nice to see Mule Kick sort of merged with Vulturade, as now you can actually gain ammo from using this perk. If you kill a zombie, you may find a new clip of ammo on the ground, and this can be so useful, especially in the boss fight if you're running low on cash and ammo. Now, this isn't specifically about Mauer Der Toten, but on the line of perks, I'm so glad that Treyarch are genuinely improving the versatility of the perks. You know, by giving them new features and new abilities, and it's just such a nice refresh to what we've seen in each and every entry of Treyarch Zombies. And I know this isn't the biggest feature in the world, but in the railway system underneath the map, it's so tense when a train comes towards you. Like, literally the first time I saw that train, I was terrified. And I literally just about made it between the two trains, and then I got bombarded by a horde of flaming zombies. It was truly terrifying. And I think that's really something that's been missing from zombies in any iteration, if I'm honest. You know, that scare factor that has you shouting at the top of your lungs. And it literally could be the fact that the map is set at nighttime and it's darker and everything like that, so there's an aesthetic reason why it could be a little bit more scarier. But even in Black Ops 4 and I guess even Black Ops 3, they had more of a cartoony aesthetic with bright colours and everything like that, and I don't know, maybe that transition just took away the scare factor. Because thinking back to like Black Ops 1 and World at War and to some degree Black Ops 2, but perhaps not as much, from an aesthetic point of view, those maps were so much more terrifying, and you could say that that's due to the fact that the visuals didn't look as crisp, and therefore they could get away with the maps looking dirtier and everything like that. But it is nice to see a return to form in Mauer Der Toten, as this is generally the most scary map that we have had in a very, very long time. But in general, Mauer Der Toten is my personal favourite map so far out of Cold War Zombies' roster. And I think it's just because the map plays so differently to D Machine and Firebase Z, as I feel like the flow of the actual map in Mauer Der Toten is so much more satisfying to traverse than either of the two maps. And hopefully Mauer Der Toten will pave the way for the next Zombies map, and last Zombies map I should be saying, to hit Cold War Zombies. Honestly, if this is the standard that Treyarch are setting for their next map, then I'm really excited to see what they have next. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you like Mauer Der Toten? Do you dislike Mauer Der Toten? Or are you just a bit on the fence about it? Let me know in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, then subscribe, like, and turn on the notification button so you don't miss another upload from me. So thank you, and goodbye